gracious and good morning. I'm Rob Chapman.
Just checking, making sure my pedal boards are all off. Perfect. That's marvellous. Hello!
Hello.
Welcome to another episode of Chappers and the Captain here on Andertons TV, where today
we are talking all about... We can almost finish each of the sentences, can't we? Because we've been together for so long.
I've been making videos with you almost as long as I've been married to my wife.
Oh my God.
I know, absolutely.
That's a really weird thing to consider. How long exactly has it
Well, I think
been?
it was 2009, wasn't it, when we first started making videos? It's 2018 now, so hey.
Yeah.
This actually feels weird. I thought I knew you before I got married, but I guess if I had, I'd invited you to my wedding, but maybe I didn't. Obviously didn't. So there we go.
You definitely didn't
I definitely
invite me to your
didn't.
wedding, so you definitely did. That's a long time, man. We got asked a question on a recent thing that I did.
A thing that I did.
And the question was, how did you and El Capitan meet?
Well, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I made the first move. I saw him from across the bar. But no, I have to give credit where credit is due to, I was looking at YouTube thinking, this is this new fandangled thing.
Yeah.
And I have to be honest with you, our matchmaker, although he doesn't realise this, was Andy from Pro Guitar Shop. Because I saw him doing his pedal demos, and I thought, that's a clever way of, marketing products. Or not clever, but it's a much more engaging and interesting way to show someone what a product does than just writing about it on the internet, which is what sort of web stores kind of did at that point. So, and then in a different video, I was watching this chap called Rob Chapman from his little room in Trowbridge.
That's right.
Sort of generally blogging, or vlogging, I suppose, and teaching and playing, and you were doing like a few reviews, but it wasn't like a review channel, was it?
Yeah.
It was just like a...
And you had seen me make videos for World Guitars in Hitchin with, back then, Jeff Pumfret.
Yeah, R.I.P. Jeff.
Yeah.
But it wasn't so much that. I just think I was drawn to, I suppose, what made you popular with lots of people was just that the channel was engaging. It was like you would... What did you whisper, you dirty...
Nothing.
Yes. I was just drawn to it. You are one of those people that's very watchable.
Well, thank you, sir.
YouTube.
I think you're equally watchable.
Well, it's very kind of you. And it's, there's I think that's the knack, actually, of the people who've been really successful on YouTube. It isn't actually how good a guitar player they are or what knowledge they've got.
Rubbish.
No, I mean, but it's people who are watchable. Because that's fun. But anyway, however you define watchable.
It's people who forget that they're being filmed and that it's a video and they're just like having fun. And I just wanted to have fun on video.
So, and you at the time, I remember you having 10,000 subscribers.
Yeah, I did.
And I could not compute in my mind that size of number. It was just like, it was vast. This is back in the day where our whole website probably only ever got like 1,000 people a month ever came to even visit it.
It was, back then it was a lot of subscribers. YouTube was a new world. I'd come from MySpace and started this new thing called YouTube. And
so, did I email or phone you?
You phoned me up
Just
out of
found
the blue,
your number from somewhere.
out of the blue, and said, "Hi, I'm Lee Anderton, and I just been watching some of your videos, and they're interesting and quite funny, and I wondered if you'd like to come and make some videos for Andertons." And I was like, "Wait a minute, didn't I buy a guitar from Andertons?"
Because bear in mind, Trowbridge and Guildford aren't really local, so we would not have been Rob's local guitar store. It's a good, probably 2-hour drive, isn't it, from Andertons?
But I had purchased something from Andertons. It was something like a, it was some kind of V or something obscure around it that I sold later on, But I knew what Andertons was, and to be honest, Lee was just offered me a good deal. Said, "Come down and we'll do one day a month." And we'll shoot a couple of videos.
I remember, I must admit, this was like the sort of the Mexican, not the Mexican standoff, but like when Rob and I didn't know each other at all, and you sort of turned up. You had very long hair then, but you were very, you presented yourself very professionally. I'm a marketing expert, and these are the things I can do for you, the brand of Andertons, like that. And I'm like, oh, that's jolly good. I'm a professional executive here running Andertons as well. I think this is extremely, beneficial, mutually. Anyway, and I remember my idea, and this definitely probably wasn't Rob's idea, but my idea was that we'd have like this QVC style effect. That we'd go, here's a new pedal and it's not 99 anymore, it's 89 pounds and it does this. And somewhere in the corner I'd have this magic counter and I'd see all the sales coming in.
And I was like, rather than that, could we just call you the captain?
Yes.
And pretend that we're in a fictional ship and then just dick around?
So quite quickly it became apparent that the videos that I wanted to make weren't selling anything at all. And actually I remember even like a month or 2 or 3 months of shooting with, like 2 or 3 days of shooting with Rob over a 3-month period, I was thinking, this is a waste of time, I'll pull the plug on this. But then we got these like emails coming through from customers going, I just want to say, I've just bought like this random product from you, nothing you've ever videoed, because I think your videos are funny that you make with Rob.
Yeah.
And that was the light bulb moment.
The one that went crazy for us really early on, it was the Slash Les Paul video, and it was a great sounding guitar. And
do you remember the set for that?
Yeah, it was a tiny room with white background.
With a white curtain, like a white dust sheet hung over a pole that was all creased and just terrible. And it was Andrew Chart, who is now actually, he's head of the whole Andertons e-commerce empire. But at that time, he literally just started as somebody, I think, like a junior copywriter, like back in the day where our web team had like one person in it and he just had to write the copy. And he just basically like held a camera and put a microphone, and I think he'd done like a GCSE music, like, you know, and that's, so he just did this thing. Hello?
Keep going.
Hey, Peter.
Was that it?
Yep.
Oh, no way.
I've saved it.
That's amazing. So this Toshiba, and I remember we had no clue. We were miking guitar amps up with all the wrong microphones and everything.
Oh, these are Alnico classic magnet double vacuum waxed frame.
Do you know what? That's exceptionally good product knowledge from you there, Chappers, as they are indeed. Alnico classic magnets double vacuum waxed.
Oh, they're enamel wire too.
They're made with enamel wire.
Yeah.
But that was the video where you and I really became friends, because we something clicked, and we were like, oh, we're a duo, and we have blues in common, and we like loud Les Pauls and just not being serious.
There was a line in that video, something about I do Slash or something like that, and we both giggled in a sort of a naughty, potty humour way.
Rob does Slash.
Something Rob does Slash. Today, Chappers is doing Slash.
I hear a lawsuit coming.
Chappers does Slash. Take 4. And that was when I think we knew. We were clearly sort of both infantile sense of humour.
Well, and since then, how much bigger is Andertons?
Well, I mean, again,
you can't attribute this all entirely to us.
Yeah, it's really difficult to, because analytically, this is boring, fast forward. Analytically, if you go, right, well, how many people watch a video, click on the link in the description below and then buy something, it's absolutely minuscule.
Yeah.
The conversion rate is so bad, it's like the worst source of sales possible compared to Google Shopping or anything like that. And yet, there is this correlation, undoubtedly, between how well known we became on YouTube and how our sales grew. And although you you know, although you can't scientifically go, well, it's because we did this, therefore this happened. And I always want to mention, you know, that there are dozens of people at Andertons. There's over 100 members of staff at Andertons now. Back then there was probably 20. And, you know, hundreds of thousands of man hours and literally millions of pounds worth of money have gone in to put the infrastructure
to feed me
around, you know, buying the stock and having the warehouse and the staff and the technology and da-da-da-da. So all those things go in. But I think that initial reason people perhaps heard of Andertons and had the confidence to buy something from us in the first place would have been, well, I always had my God, this is terribly boring. My number one golden rule of selling online is if nobody ever comes to your website.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, it's a bit like everything else can be perfect.
Yeah.
So you've got to have some way of going, hello.
But you know what? I think more than that, it was an outlet for both of us because I was in a really dark time at the beginning of us meeting up and going through, you know, divorce and all sorts of horrible, weird things.
Yes.
And, well, it's personal, but loads and loads of debt. Thousands of pounds worth of debt.
I remember.
And obviously running Andertons is a stressful thing. And so we were both like, this is a massive outlet. We can just go crazy in these videos and have a bit of a fun and relax and just kind of do our own thing. And we both found a way, because presenting with somebody isn't easy. If they're not the right person, it doesn't click. It's the hardest thing ever to do. But when it's the right person and it works and you know how their mind works and everything, it's so easy.
I think the format as well that has kept us fresh or relatively fresh, and that we've kind of said to everyone that's come to work for Andertons here is the videos have to be literally live and in the room, and you know what you don't see in our videos are like lots of cuts of rehearsed things and the same thing played 50 times to try and get it how we want it to. You literally hit, I mean, that's how Rob and I make, well, and the rest of the team, that's how we do 4, sometimes 5 videos in a day, because it's literally, right, what are we doing next? These pedals, okay, cool, what do they do? Don't worry about that, Rob, I'll tell you in the video. You know, it's just like,
yeah.
And that's it.
You just go. I mean, there are times when you cut and you go, oh man, I don't know how this works. Or, oh, this thing is broken and needs fixing.
Well,
but
perhaps that brings us on to
our top.
Should we do our favourite 3 and our least favourite 3?
Oh my God!
Should we? I mean, this is completely off the cuff, and we've not. Bear in mind, there's over 1,000 videos that Rob and I have done, so we're bound to have forgotten them. I tell you what would be great for the comments section is just put the links to your favourite one, and so then
that would be really funny.
Go and you can then all read down the comment section. See what
the video I remember laughing the most at of all time was, and I don't know what the product was about, so that product just had a bad time, yeah. Okay. But I just remember we just found out about Skyrim, and I took an arrow to the knee. I used to be an adventurer like you, and then I took an arrow to the knee. And that just snowballed, and the entire video, everything was, I used to like birds, then I took a sparrow to the knee.
I used to like vegetable gardening. Took a marrow to the knee.
It was just like, I don't know what this product was. It was an amp of some kind, and they probably hated us. But it
was an Ampeg guitar amp, I think.
Right.
And I used to be in a bird watching program with Bill Oddie, but then I took a sparrow to the knee. And I think at the end I even wrote an email to Ampeg to apologise for the fact that although the amp was fine and it did feature in the video, and I think we probably said nice things about it, 90% of the video was arrow to the knee.
Oh, it was so
funny.
I bruised my stomach muscles laughing. I went home and I had a bath. It was one of those.
So is that going to go in your top 3?
That's in the most fun to shoot is what I'm going for.
See, I think the one that, and it never, I don't think it ever got that many views, but the one whenever it comes up and I watch it back, and it always, I just think it was brilliant, is the intro to the original Cap 10 demo, where I'm the Lone Ranger, the Tone Ranger. Yeah. And do you remember the stick that used to do the audio? Put the horse's head on, and there's a camera angle of me riding a horse that just looks so legit, and then it pans out, and it's literally a guy with a rubber horse hat on.
I was a Native
American.
American.
By Indians.
I was a Native American dancing around you, and then like bringing you into the spirit.
We got some heat in the comments section for that.
We did,
it being about anti-Native American.
But we're really not. No.
It was just being silly.
We like everybody as long as they're a nice bird.
Hello, stranger. You seem to have been injured.
Yeah, I know. I think I've taken an arrow.
The hooded beak.
The hooded beak.
Yes.
How did he even...
I don't know.
Wasn't there
It was a competition.
Wasn't there an Epiphone guitar that was
Yes.
that was a hawk, something hawk?
It was a hawk, and so you were the hooded beak.
the blues hawk.
Yeah.
So we had a blues hawk who was a superhero, and then I became another superhero called the hooded beak.
And I wrote a really,
It's
really,
so bad.
really,
you wrote
really-
a song, a theme tune for the hooded beak,
Yeah.
and sung it and everything.
oh my god, that was so funny. The time when we all dressed up to go around, and you were Michael Jackson. You went to a
man, we did a
graveyard
nativity play,
and you
didn't we?
danced like Thriller in a graveyard.
Yeah.
Rabia dressed up as...
I was a wise man.
He was a
He was the
wise man.
wasn't he?
We were sat in some waiting room, just sat waiting.
I know. Do you remember we went to Burger King? And we're all sat in Burger King,
Yes.
like, eating our burgers I'm dressed as Michael Jackson, and you're all wise men.
This
and
is
I don't even know what you
when
are.
Bia was eating meat still, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, we were already... And my wife was dressed up as an angel or something, and we weren't even married.
And basically, my first daughter had just been born, and we did the
Yeah.
nativity thing back in my garage.
Oh my God, Baby
with,
G.
With Baby G.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
That was...
Inappropriate.
The one clip I'll never get out of my mind is we dressed up as our two favourite rock stars, and you jumped and did a butt slide over the bonnet of a car.
Of your old green Volvo.
Oh my god! And I was filming it, and you just jumped and skid it, and we're like, and it was so funny.
No worries, Captain. We'll be there in a second.
The funny thing was with that. So those two characters, Richie Sambuca and
Wildebeest.
Wildebeest, yeah. They became the two characters that we always got out the cupboard every time there was a Charvel guitar to demo, until Charvel literally said, Can you
not do that anymore? Could you cease?
Because you so stereotypic.
Could you cease
You're
that?
stereotyping the sort of person that would buy a Charvel guitar. It's
Yeah.
like,
Much to the chagrin of the internet, I would imagine. Probably, yeah.
Probably.
We've had a few brands tell us to
I'm
stop doing
surprised
things.
that Miku hasn't come. I mean, for me,
That was
the most...
I was waiting for you to just do that one.
Okay, because I mean, that's the biggest viewed video I think that we've ever
Yes.
done together, isn't it? And that was the one...
Is it?
I think it is. No, I think you did a throwaway kind of what does a fretless guitar sound like video.
Yeah, just
That's
like as a fun, ridiculous
it's had like
side
a gabillion views. But
And it
the
wasn't
biggest
even
one
a
I'm in
serious-
is the Miku one.
It wasn't even a serious thing. That was just a throwaway thing. It's had.
But that was...
let's have a look. Let's have
I
a look.
started playing the intro to Every Breath She Takes, which I hack with some chords that probably aren't right. And then Rob plays the vocal melody line with the Miku, and it's just...
That was that was a major scale. Let's play a chord. There's a chord. So it doesn't do that very well. But what it does do very well is the hold it together, bro. You can do this. Here's another chord. Is the singing melodies thing, and actually for some reason, although it doesn't track individual notes particularly well, it does track bending very well. So if Lee was to play a simple chord like maybe an A, I can do that. Play an A. Isn't it funny? After almost 10 years, it's 10 years, isn't it?
Well, 9 years.
9 years. But we've got to do something crazy for 10
We
years.
will.
After almost 10 years of shooting videos, a throwaway random video gets 4 million views as the Ever Wondered What a Fretless Guitar Sounds Like. And then it's the Korg Miku, then it's Dorje Catalyst, and then it's one of the first videos we ever shot, Gibson versus Epiphone.
Oh, the Gibson versus Epiphone is the AKA / How to
Yeah.
Sound Like Slash on a Budget, isn't
Yes,
it?
it
That
is,
is
yeah.
literally the very first video I think we
You
ever
know
did.
what? Interestingly enough, then it's the Fender Stratocaster shootout, Squier versus Fender.
Yeah.
So people love David and Goliath kind of concepts. But then it's Blindfold Challenge, the can we tell a £300 guitar from a £3,000 guitar?
And that was the one where I think that was an early Squire Classic Vibe video where you got the £2,000 or whatever custom shop telly and the Classic Vibe mixed up, blindfolded. That was back in the day as well. Before, I don't know where they've gone now, before a very, very nice chap sent us proper blindfolds. We just literally used to
apparently
wrap like T-shirts around our head.
He made a Rabia one as well, but I have no idea where that's gone.
I've got it at home.
Oh, he's got it at
So
home.
these didn't, prior to these, we used to just literally wrap anything, like bits of black cloth and all sorts. Anyway.
I always wondered what would happen with Andertons, with Chappers and the Captain in the future. And I had all these sort of dreams and aspirations of us like taking it on the road and doing it live and going around Europe or a bit of America. And I'm just waiting for Lee to agree.
So that was our, I mean, again, I don't know if we've forgotten any. I certainly know that.
Oh, there are hundreds.
Do you remember when... Why did we dress Stick up as B.A. Baracus once? And again, we fully dressed him up. And
dressed. That was well selected.
And again,
word.
I think we got some stick for that.
We got a lot of stick for Stick dressing up like B.A. Baracus, but we just have fun. We're inclusive of everybody.
We did a lot of stuff.
There were some videos that were really, really hard to shoot.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about a few more of those on my channel at some point soon.
I mean, I sort of, as you guys, I sure well imagine, one of the things of the last year or two that has been great for Andertons as it's got bigger is that manufacturers have just begun to respect the fact that when we make videos, we will be honest and critical of products when it's... relevant. But in the early days, when the video channel was a bit smaller and Andertons was a bit smaller, and brands didn't really understand YouTube, they just thought it should be for adverts.
They didn't like that they couldn't control it. They wanted it to be something they could mould, shape, and become part of their marketing itinerary.
There were definitely, awkward videos that I kind of walked away going, I was a bit uncomfortable in that one. And there's obviously...
And it would always invariably be because I'd push it a little bit.
Yeah, and there might be a representative in the corner. But the one. I mean, again, I don't know. I'm not going to name a brand, but I remember doing a guitar amp shootout, and the brand that lost the guitar amp shootout out of 4 or 5 different brands went
absolutely ballistic. Yeah.
And they didn't really lose because there was none of the scores were terrible. It was just in any scored shootout, there was obviously one came bottom.
And I think one of the best things about us is that we are free to do whatever we want to do. Obviously, you run a guitar store.
Yeah.
I don't. I just come in and work and hang out and drink coffee. But so for you, it's probably a lot harder because you're always thinking, my store's got to sell these.
It's different now. Honestly, we've done the same shootout reviews in the last 2 years, and we'll go, this one's my favourite, and I didn't like this one because. And honestly, now I just think the world has changed, and brands they accept that this is just the new form of media. This is how people talk about stuff. And I think, again, I used to say to a lot of brands, what do you think sales staff are saying in stores when they don't like a product? Then if a customer comes in and says, do you like this amp or this amp better for me? The sales member will go, well, I prefer that one to that one.
Yeah.
And I'm going, we're not doing anything different to that. It's just you just don't get it. But yeah, definitely.
It's just a bigger platform.
In the olden days.
With stronger influencers, I suppose, is the issue.
Yeah.
And we do have a lot of responsibility with our wieldy, mighty YouTube stick.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's very difficult.
Yeah.
Especially if they're with us in the room.
But don't you find now, as opposed to manufacturers getting the hump if we say they don't like something, if we say we don't like something, what we'll do is we'll get that manufacturer coming back and going, well, what should we do to improve it? Thank you for the feedback, rather than, oh, I wish you'd just said.
We have been involved in a lot of helping brands make big decisions about products.
So come on then, videos that have been, if you had to have your 3 videos that you just go, I wish we'd never even started doing them for any reason at all. This is,
I can name them.
Yeah. Well, should we do the one that everyone will?
Yeah,
yes.
I wish we had never done the cab clone video because the product wasn't good, and Mezaboogie make fantastic products, and that wasn't one of them. And so Unfortunately, it was just.
Yeah. I should caveat that by saying because the product's still in the catalogue now, so I think what it was advertised as something that it probably wasn't. You know, it was advertised as a box. You just throw away your cabinet, put your guitar amp straight into it, take a feed into
it's
your
called
PA.
the Cab Clone.
Exactement. And we did a video and kind of compared it to a real cab, and it didn't come out great. Boogie contacted us and said, you kind of
missed the point.
You've missed the point.
Yeah.
And it's not really, you know, it's kind of, would you mind if Peter came down and explained it in more detail? We then understood kind of what it was supposed to do and redo the video, which we said, of course. You know, the last thing we want to do is misrepresent a product and, you know, misuse it. And we redid the video and probably still didn't.
Well, we were never going to redo it and lie or just go, oh no, now we think it's great. We're just honest. We're always honest. So, and you know, that's a real shame because, I mean, in particular, I love Mesa Boogie. I own a
I know
Boogie.
You bought one from us about 2 weeks ago, didn't you?
I think they're one of the best amp brands, you know, and they're in my top 4 or 5 amp brands of all time.
If we'd have understood a bit more 3 or 4 years ago about impulse responses and how you need to use impulse responses with DI'd cab emulations, we would probably have reviewed that product completely differently. But it was at a time where that kind of tech was relatively new and unknown, and as I said, the product was launched as didn't sort of go, oh, by the way, make sure you use some sort of impulse response. I think you were
supposed to take the sound and then mold it more, and we just took the sound and presented it.
Yeah.
So what about for you?
I still I never enjoy having to demonstrate very technical products.
Oh, it's hard.
So I think because the format of our videos is very much about what your initial reaction is to a product. And it's like, right, so you're looking for, like, it's got to be simple to use, and you've got to initially get some good sounds out of it. And then that's compounded even worse where a supplier says, look, I've got you this product. It's like, it's not out for a couple of months.
It's a prototype.
Well, they don't even tell you it's a prototype. So you get the product and then you're going like that, and then there'll be glitches. And
so tell them, because this was the hardest review we've ever done. Tell them what it was.
Positive Grid's bias amp.
That took us, did we shoot it twice? Over 2 days?
Yeah.
It was the hardest video we have ever shot. Not because he couldn't get it to sound good, but it was just so confusing, so convoluted. There were problems with the unit we had. It was a prototype. It was glitchy.
Yeah.
And oh my God.
And we were trying to we were trying to obviously present it in its best light. But I remember, not just me, I mean, just literally going, I've utterly lost the will to live. I can't, you'd spend an hour getting a sound that you liked, and then literally the app, or you'd press a button and it hadn't saved anything, and you'd just be like, I can't do this anymore. It's just like,
okay. Is there a video you've ever refused to do?
Well, I guess I
can think of 2.
I don't know that, not in a way of, I mean, recently, like the last 18 months, I just refuse to do anything that's boring.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly and truthfully, if you could see the amount of jaffods that we get sent, and just...
Wait. Jaffod is an internal term that means just another...
something overdrive. And not actually, overdrives aren't the word, but just
distortion
pedals.
Like, is it a green one this year or a red one?
Another and I refuse to do those anymore. We turn down hundreds of pounds, thousands of pounds in, people going, can I pay you? It's like, no, I'm not doing it. It's so boring. So I don't do those anymore. And I'm not interested really in being the YouTube guy that assassinates a product, because I sort of appreciate that people have to, there are people out there making a living out of this kind of stuff.
Well, we own a brand, so we know what it's like if someone makes a bad review of our product. So
I think most of our reviews, if we don't review, I've got the greatest get out of jail card ever for not reviewing stuff. Because if Andertons doesn't stock it, if I don't like it, we don't buy it for Andertons, therefore we don't review it. Therefore it's an easy... That's why we don't review something, because we only review products on this channel, typically, that Andertons sells. What about you? What have you refused to demo then?
So the one that sticks out really, really in my mind. I got sent this Chinese travel guitar, and it was a small yellow body, maple neck, like headless, tuners down here, and they'd sent them out to 3 or 4 other YouTubers as well. And I got it, and I went, and I found immediately 4 or 5 construction issues, like faults with this product, and they were so bad that I wrote back and said, look, I'm not going to review this because I'm doing you a favour, but while I'm here are the 4 things wrong with your product. And they promptly offered me a job, which I refused. And then I saw that 3 other YouTubers had done the review.
Yeah.
And it was a bit embarrassing. Because
you knew that the product was rubbish, but they were basically saying it was
beyond
great.
awful. Like, as in completely awful. And you kind of sit... I always wanted to think that I retain integrity when I... And I'm not saying other people don't. Sometimes...
Well, you are, but
it's okay. Sometimes you got to eat. But I just kind of think...
Oh, it's difficult, isn't it? There's Jason Wilding from Wampler did a really good blog article about the difference between what you should expect to get from a YouTube demo from a guy that's being paid to do it versus what you should expect to get from a YouTube demo from a guy that isn't being paid to do it. And he was just saying, look, there's not really any... He's not suggesting that anything is lied about, but clearly... If a manufacturer says, I will give you £500 to review this product, what they really mean is, I will give you £500 to make a video showing this product off in its best light.
Right.
So not lying about it.
No, so it's not a review, it's a demonstration.
Yes.
Now, the cool thing for me is that Andertons pays me to come here, but I'm free to be, I don't like that, I like that, I hate that, that's rubbish, that's brilliant. I can say anything I want, any given time, and I mean, you can because you own...
Well, and I think that's allowed, the bigger the YouTube channel has got, and the more, as I said, our suppliers and our partners understand what the point of it is, the more they accept that there's no such thing as a product that's absolutely brilliant for everybody.
No.
There's just a product that will do a certain thing that will be good for some things and not so good for other things, and one guy will like it and the next guy won't, but that doesn't... So that's what we talk about.
But it's brilliant because if the money to me was coming from PRS... I couldn't say, I hate this guitar. Obviously, this is a brilliant guitar. But because the money comes from Andertons, and I'm free to say what I want because you have a billion products.
Andertons is good though, right?
Andertons is great.
That's in the contract.
Then I'm immediately free of all the tethers of restrictions and things. So it's just the best.
So did we do the 3 worst? I think we missed the other worst one, which we kind of know about, which was, do you remember trying to do the Gibson Firebird? Was it Firebird? No, not
the
Firebird.
Gibson Firebird X.
No, it's not called a... Oh, was it?
It's the Firebird X, yeah. I'm going to make a video about some of this too. Essentially, it was the worst guitar I've ever demoed.
It was...
In 10 years.
It was the most pointlessly... No, do you know what it was? I mean, it was a bad shape and a bad finish.
It was a bad guitar, Lee.
So it wasn't a great guitar anyway. And then it just had a load of tech that was like early tech for what it could do. So the whole the robot tuning was a very early version of that.
Bluetooth
the pedals, the Bluetooth pedals that would do all the effects in the guitar.
Lag, and you do something and then you go, the pedal.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, don't break it, Lee. It's expensive.
Oh, guitar, it'll tell you, different presets and things like that. As Rob is ably demonstrating, the best story I ever heard about it wasn't that guitar, but it was like the next generation of that, which was called something to do with a tiger. It was a whatever.
Yeah, you're right.
And the story goes, the press shots for the guitar was a cage with a tiger in it, and this Gibson guitar. Somebody say in the comments what it was. It was one of the robot things. I'm sure it was anyway, whatever it was. And it was a press shot of the guitar in a cage with the tiger by it like that. And the story goes that they'd turned the guitar on so that the knobs would light up and stuff like that. And as the tiger went near it and touched a string, the machine head went to tune it, spooked the tiger, and the tiger smashed the shit out of this guitar.
No way!
Yeah, which actually is the coolest story ever. That's the rumour I heard. But
it's a rumour.
In fairness, the Tiger obviously knew better than we did about what the best thing to do with those kind of guitars was, I think. But there we go. So, and I should say, in fairness to Gibson, although the onboard effects technology really never went anywhere, they did, in fairness, develop the robot tuning to a level where actually it was really cool and really usable. And I thought they'd pretty much nailed it. And even though there was still a lot of, like 60, 70% of people still didn't like it, I still thought that it did actually work at the end. And then they just went, oh, we're not doing that anymore. I was like, oh.
Well, no, that's not...
They're not doing it at all anymore. All I know is that on the 2018 range, the robot tuning was completely removed. And yet, which I thought was weird, because by the time it had got to the latest version of the 2017 range,
I mean,
it really worked well, and people would go, oh, I just need to press this button and now my guitar's in tune. Yeah.
Yeah, the number of times we demoed a Gibson and gone, oh, we should have had robot tuners because it would have been way better, is astounding. How long is this video?
It's too long.
What's the longest video we've ever shot?
This one.
No, we've done longer videos.
Christmas special. 2015 or something.
Oh, there was one or two reasons why that will always be a fondly remembered video for me.
I've been Rob Chapman.
And I was the captain. Please keep watching for another 10 years. And again, in the comment section below, if you'd like us to dress up more and be a bit more stupid or do other things, put it in the comment section below. We don't read them.
So tell us what you'd like us to dress as. For example, recently I had a request for Lee to film himself in the shower singing the Spice Girls. If that's your dream,
fantastic.
Just gotta
well,
shout
there
it
we go.
below.
Coming to a channel near you. Not.
Zig a zig ah.
Yeah.